She said, "We're not working out, but I still want you in my life." So I became her emotional support buddy, fixed her car, took her calls, and watched her date someone else. Until I showed up at an art fair with her coworker. Suddenly, she missed me. But I was already gone. We were sitting on the couch, a quiet Tuesday evening. The TV was playing something in the background, but neither of us had really been watching. That's when Emily turned to me, eyes steady but distant, and said, "We're not working out, but I still want you in my life. You're my best friend." I didn't shout, didn't cry. I just sat there, nodded slowly, and said, "Okay, let's be friends then." And that was it. Almost 3 years of being together, just like that. But being friends? Emily had a very different idea of what that meant. To her, it meant I'd still call her every night. Still pick her up when her car stalled in the cold. Still run across town to grab her favorite coffee when she had a rough day. Still lay next to her when she couldn't sleep alone. Still be there for every little inconvenience she didn't want to face alone, but no label, no commitment. To me, it felt like emotional leftovers. I convinced myself that I was being mature, staying close because we had history. I told myself that maybe she just needed space to figure things out. That first week, I stuck around. I was there for her like I always had been, playing the same role, minus the title. But things started shifting quickly. That second Friday after the breakup, we'd made casual plans to grab dinner. Nothing fancy, just pizza and maybe a walk by the lake. Something we used to do all the time. At around 5 p.m., she texted, "Hey, can we rain check? I've got a date tonight. Hope you understand." I stared at the message for a long minute. It wasn't the date part that hit me. I already had suspicions something had been going on before we broke up. What hit me was that little heart at the end. Like she was casually canceling a dinner with a cousin, not the person who still felt bruised every time he thought about what they used to have. I remembered that guy. The one who had been in her DMs months ago. The same one she swore was just a friend from college. Now he was taking my Friday night spot. That was the moment something switched off in me. No shouting match. No guilt tripping. I just stepped back. I didn't reply to the text. Didn't ask how the date went. Didn't call her the next day to check in. For the first time in 3 years, I let silence take my place. And in that silence, I started asking myself something I should have asked a long time ago. What was I even getting out of this? I wasn't her boyfriend anymore. I wasn't her partner. But she still wanted the emotional safety net I provided, without offering any real support in return. She was exploring her freedom, but I was still stuck holding on to something that barely resembled a relationship anymore. I realized I was her plan B, her emotional standby. And the worst part? I had agreed to it. So I started pulling back. No dramatic exit. No heated conversations. I just stopped showing up like I used to. And honestly, part of me wondered if she'd even notice. After that canceled dinner, I made a quiet promise to myself. No more playing the fallback guy. I stopped answering her late-night texts that read, "Can I call you real quick?" when I knew they'd turn into hour-long therapy sessions about work stress or awkward dates. I stopped showing up to fix her car or help her rearrange furniture. I stopped being her go-to emotional valet, always ready with advice, time, or energy. And you know what? She noticed. A few days into my silence, she texted, "Hey, haven't heard from you. Everything okay?" I replied, "Yeah, just busy. Hope you're good." That was it. No coldness, no accusations, just distance. And it felt right. Around that time, I started casually chatting with Sarah, Emily's coworker. I'd met her maybe twice before when Emily and I were still together, but we never talked much. She followed me on Instagram shortly after the breakup and reacted to a playlist I posted in a story. That was how it started. A song. We began sharing music, then memes, then little check-ins. No flirting. Just two people being kind to each other. Refreshing, honestly. One night, she asked, "Hey, I know this might be weird, but how are you really doing?" Not asterisk, "What happened?" Asterisk, or, "So what's the gossip with Emily?" Just how are you? That simple question meant more to me than any of the "I still want you in my life" nonsense Emily had fed me. So, we started hanging out, low-key stuff. A coffee here, a bookstore visit there. No pressure, just peace. Then came the Sunday art fair. Sarah and I went as friends, laughed at bizarre sculptures, tried overpriced lemonade, and took a photo in front of a mural. She tagged me in it. I didn't think much of it, until my phone buzzed that evening. "Emily, seriously? Her? You know she's not even your type." I stared at the message for a second, then calmly replied, "We're friends now, right? You don't get a say." There was a pause. 10 minutes of nothing. Then, "I miss you. I think maybe we made a mistake." Funny how that works. The same woman who told me I was like a brother just 2 weeks ago now suddenly missed me, all because someone else started treating me with the care she had stopped giving. But here's the thing. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel the urge to rush back or rub anything in her face. I just felt done. What struck me most was how quickly she shifted tones. It wasn't regret, it was control slipping away. She didn't like not having me orbiting around her anymore. I didn't respond to her last text. Instead, I sent Sarah a photo I'd found of an old painting we both loved, and we laughed over how we completely misread the artist's name the first time we saw it. It felt good. Easy. No drama. No games. And for the first time in months, I realized I didn't miss Emily. I missed the idea of what we used to be. But that version of us didn't exist anymore, and hadn't for a long time. By the time Emily said she missed me, it was already too late. Something had shifted, not just in our dynamic, but inside me. For the first time in years, I felt clear-headed. Being around Sarah helped me see what a balanced connection could actually look like. There were no unspoken expectations. No guilt. Just mutual respect and kindness. That's why when Emily tried to inch her way back into my life, I didn't bite. It started small. Little memory messages. A picture of an old movie ticket from a concert we went to. Then she sent a video of our dog. Well, her dog technically, but I'd helped raise him. He still runs to the door at 6 p.m. like he's waiting for you, she wrote. It was supposed to pull at my heart, and maybe a few weeks ago, it would have. But now, it felt like someone trying to drag me back into a space I'd already cleaned out and locked up. Then came the twist I didn't see coming. Sarah texted me a screenshot one night. It was from Emily. Just so you know, he's not over me. He's using you to fill a void. I've seen him spiral before. This is part of his cycle. Sarah added nothing. Just sent the image. But when we met later that day, she looked me in the eye and said, "You're not like what she described." And honestly, her message told me more about her than about you. She shrugged it off, but I could tell it annoyed her. Not because she believed it, but because someone tried to pit us against each other like high school drama. I didn't confront Emily. I didn't send a long message defending myself or demanding answers. I just blocked her. That was the moment I truly chose myself. Not as a reaction, not out of spite, but because I finally understood I didn't know her access to me anymore. A month later, Sarah and I were officially together. We didn't make a big deal of it. No Instagram announcements. No hard launch. Just two people quietly deciding they wanted to be in each other's corner. We still joke about Emily sometimes. Not in a cruel way, but in the way people laugh at how they once believed the bare minimum was love. Looking back, Emily didn't want a breakup. She wanted a reset. A boyfriend on standby while she found herself. But love doesn't work like that. You can't ask someone to stand still while you explore every door but theirs. I don't think Emily's a bad person. I think she's confused. I think she mistook attention for affection and comfort for care. And maybe someday, she'll understand the difference. But that's not my story to stay in. This is the one where I finally stopped giving my energy to people who only wanted it when it served them. The one where I learned boundaries don't make you cold. They keep you whole. The one where I realized that sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is walk away without the final word.